Hey folks, I'm Sarah and I'm on the 2025 jury for what I think is the best book prize for literary fiction from small presses. It's called the Republic of Consciousness Prize, United States and Canada, and it is dedicated to literary fiction from small presses in North America. Over the next few months, I will be sharing every single book nominated for the prize, and while I can't share my personal opinions on each book just yet, I will share enough details so that you can get to know the book and the publisher. Every book gets its very own video, and you are not going to want to miss a single one. Next up is book number 10, and it's Wilderness of Mirrors by Olufemi Terry, and this is published by Restless Books. I've seen this described as being set in a parallel South Africa, and it's a novel that's all about being young and trying to discover who you are while being in a country and being surrounded by a setting that is very much reckoning with its complex past and moving toward an uncertain future. Emile is a young surgeon in training and has just decided to take a year off of medical school, kind of take a break from medical school, and his father has this idea. His father is a wealthy man who seems to be involved in a lot of ways in politics and seems to have a fair amount of power. So his father has this idea that Emile should head south and stay with his cousins and aunt. And really, the father is sending Emile kind of on a spy mission to kind of report back on how his cousins and his aunt are faring. So Emile sets off for Stadmutter. I don't really know how to say it, but Stadmutter, the city of Stadmutter. And it's a city that is very much more diverse, racially, economically diverse than the city that Emile is from. And so he arrives at his aunt's house and is pretty much immediately seems to be very overwhelmed by his surroundings. And he kind of becomes rather listless, it almost seems. It seems like he doesn't quite know what to do with himself. He finds himself kind of wrapped up in a couple of relationships, both intellectually and sexually wrapped up in two important relationships. And so you follow along as he's dealing with the repercussions of being in these two relationships. And along the way, he gets wrapped up in these really complex, almost slippery social, political, racial, class dynamics that are going on in this city. And young Emile is left kind of reeling from all the moving parts and like hidden agendas of all the people around him, and eventually becomes entangled in kind of an underground political movement that becomes rather dangerous for the people involved. Olufemi Terry is a prize-winning writer. This is his debut novel, and he was born in Sierra Leone and now lives in both Germany and Côte d'Ivoire. And Restless Books, the publisher, is now based in Amherst, Massachusetts, and they are a nonprofit publisher, as they say, devoted to championing essential voices from around the world whose stories speak to us across linguistic and cultural borders. We seek extraordinary international literature for adults and young readers that feeds our restlessness, our hunger for new perspectives, our passion for other cultures and languages, and eagerness to explore beyond the confines of the familiar. And from my shelves, I have read and enjoyed Tenderloin, which is published by Restless Books, and Blood Red, which was actually shortlisted for the 2022 Republic of Consciousness Prize. Restless Books also has a classics series featuring books like Dracula, Frankenstein, Middlemarch, Passing, and a lot more. I found an article that was written way back in 2015 by Olufemi Terry that is posted both on Electric Literature and The Guardian, and it's all about his experience living and studying in Cape Town, South Africa. In this article from 2015, he talks about setting aside a story that he had been working on for a really long time that was set in New York, because he had lived in New York for a while, to embark on a new tale of something else he was trying to write about Cape Town. And that's where Terry studied creative writing, was in Cape Town. So it makes me wonder if he was referring to this novel in that article. And the way he describes Cape Town in that article is really, reminiscent of the descriptions of Stadmutter in this novel. He describes it as this really slippery place, as hard to get a handle on, and that's how Stadmutter is depicted here in Wilderness of Mirrors. Also, the physical descriptions of the place, which are really, really vivid in this novel, they seem to make an appearance in the article about Cape Town as well. So one quote from the article says, "Cities contain paradoxes within them, but none I have lived in had so many as Cape Town. The environment, land and sea, is romantic in a German Sturm und Drang sense. Table Mountain looms like a panopticon tower over semi-desert. The rocky Atlantic wild sea throws up high, cold waves." I feel like that could have come straight from this novel. And that's just one of many incredible books nominated by one of many incredible publishers. The long list of 10 books is usually announced in mid-January-ish, but I guarantee you there are going to be more than 10 amazing books from these nominees. So if you love offbeat, under-the-radar literary fiction, you are going to want to follow along. Click above or below for the next nominated book. If I've filmed it, it'll be available there. If not, stay tuned for just a little while longer. And in the meantime, you can click the playlist below that will contain all of the nominated books that I've shared so far. Again, my name is Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.